Hello YouTube, Appius Attius Aurelius here. I have a significant battle for you all. This is a 4v4 that was shared with me today earlier on the Heir of Carthage Discord. Reginald Puggington is the submitter here. He had opportunity to play with Gabo King and 6 other players, none of them slouches, from what I can tell from watching the replay a couple times now. And they did a themed battle. Dark Elves versus the Forces of Chaos. Nobody picked the same Lord, and almost nobody picked the same Regiment of Renown. The only Regiment of Renown crossover where 2 players pick the same one is the Summoners of Rage on the KS end of the spectrum. And we're in for a treat. This is huge. I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning for your poor, sweet, gentle eyes. If you like seeing things in 60 frames per second or even 30 frames per second, you may not be able to watch this. This is gonna tax the bejeebus out of my Acer Aspire laptop. I am sorry to say. And we're loading into the game now. Here we are, just about ready. I'm going to go ahead and put it into slow motion to get things kicked off, but I'm going to try and give you a breakdown of all of the armies. Jareed here, you can see, has taken most Throg, a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. We also have 5 Marauders supported by 2 Berserkers and 2 Marauder Champions with great weapons. Also, he has taken along some Armored Skin Wolves and the Frostworm. And out on the distant flank, he's also brought along some Chaos Warhounds. I'm going to go ahead and get that slow motion actually going this time. Let's go ahead and continue our review of the Chaos Forces. We have Chosen, 2 units of Chosen, and 3 units of Chaos Warriors. We also have a Chaos Giant, Sarthariel the Everwatcher, Mirror Guard, Summoners of Rage, and the Chaos Spawn, Weird Spawn, Regiment of Renown, as well as a very rapid-firing Soul of Damnation Hell Cannon and another Summoners of Rage. And they're all supported by Archaon the Everchosen, Swords of Chaos, Chaos Knights, as well as Chaos Lances and more Chaos Warhounds, this time of the Poison variety. And there is another Lord supporting these 2 Chaos armies over here, which is Sarthariel the Everwatcher and a Chaos Giant, if not already mentioned. And kind of getting a little bit off to the further flank here, we have Golek Suneater's army, consisting of Chaos Warriors and Chaos Warriors with Halberds, along with Dragon Ogres, a Chaos Feral Manticore, a Chaos Sorcerer of Death, Chaos Knights, and Chaos Chariot. Then we're going to go ahead and come back over here for our rundown of Puggington and everybody else's army. And they have a Blackguard of Nagaron surprise for you, and I can't wait to show it to you. So here we go, the Dread Knights, Regiment of Renown, along with the Slaanesh Harvesters. The battle's already kicking off with the artillery duel in the distance. So we've got Dread Spears in the woods. You're going to see lots of Dread Spears here. Witch Elves, 2 units of Shades, more Dread Spears, the Charybdis, some Bleak Swords, and, of course, Blackguard of Nagaron, and Malekith on the Cold One Mount, along with a Dread Spears at the front end of this woods. Now, I mentioned the Blackguard Surprise, or, I didn't mean to say Blackguard, I meant to say Harganeth Executioner Surprise. Banks and banks of them, including the Regiment of Renown, including Crone Hellebron, hidden in the woods here. A Sorceress of Fire, some Witch Elves, and the Sisters of Slaughter, the Witch Elves Regiment of Renown. This is not I would not want to be there at all, ever. Here comes some Dread Spears, and guess what? More Dread Spears. And I'm just going to continue down the line to give you an idea of what the Dark Elf plan of attack was. Dread Spears, Dread Spears, Dread Spears, Dread Spears, Dread Spears. Supported by Witch Elves, Blackguard of Nagaron, and 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers, and then 2 Death Hags on the Cauldrons, more Witch Elves. And in the back ranks, we got Blackguard Nagaron, another unit of Witch Elves all the way out here from Reginald Puggington, and then 2 Black Dragons, one of them with a Sorceress of Dark Magic on board. Then completing a kind of skirmishing flank out here. We have Dark Riders. Marathi has already kind of come around to the flank. Raven Heralds, which this is a unit I would love to see more of in multiplayer. This mobile repeater crossbow flying missile cavalry. I think that's great. You never see those much. And some Harpies out here. And then this poor Dark Rider got overwhelmed by a combination of Norscan Warhounds and a Chaos Knight with lances. Okay. And the skirmishing has begun. What did I say about that frame rate, right? As soon as I hit play, this really kicks off. And here comes a manual aimed shot, I believe, from the Chaos Artillery. See how it banks up at the last second there to grab a hold of those spears and trying to get some collateral on the Reaper Bolt Thrower, but not really happening. He quickly abandons doing the manual aim shots. I think this one might also... Yeah, that one goes a little over target, and he's got to really focus now on what's happening on his flank, because they're coming, and they're coming quick. The Norscan Warhounds kind of fall back to support, and here comes some magic right away for the Soul of Damnation. You're about to be damned. Any second now. Any second now. It's coming as the blobs start getting together. Oh, what a timing on that blast, too. It also gets a big piece of the Norscan Warhounds, but that did significant damage to the Hell Cannon. So the infantry has met, or they're about to, anyway. The Reaper Claw Bolt Throwers are trying to get as much damage done to this blob of Chaos Warriors here before Sartorial gets too close. And here go the Witch Elves on a lone charge, supported by the Dragon, so they're thinking they can probably get some work done. And they will against Marauders. They're going to be able to grab a hold of these Marauders and kind of force them to go berserk pretty quickly. And the ranged fire continues to hammer away at these Chaos Warriors down their flank. We're going to go ahead and back this up and watch from the distance as we just kind of get a good idea of everything that's going on right now. There goes the Harganeth Executioner Surprise into these woods, where the Chaos Warriors with halberds, are going to get easily overwhelmed. Dread Spears and Bleak Swords grabbing hold of these Chaos Warriors and this unit of Chaos Knights in the woods. It's actually a good place to be as a chaff spearman unit. If you can grab heavy cavalry in the woods, you're doing okay. Because it's really hard for that cavalry to break away from that. And already things are starting to go berserk over here in this blob as Kolek goes toe-to-toe with Malekith. Not too much to see right now for all the trees, but you know what's happening. Here come the Sisters of Slaughter around the flank, and the Charybdis has already routed that unit of Dragon Ogres. Here goes more magic into this blob. Here, now we've got the Gaze of Cain activated. And out here, troops have uncovered hidden foes in the woods. That's the Chaos Cavalry. They found this unit of Dark Riders, and that's great news for the Dark Riders. The Witch Elves has actually done a good job to berserk this unit of Chaos Knight with lances as they face off against the Black Guard of Nagarond. Oh, that's perfect. And now, yep, the Dark Riders are going to go ahead and turn around on the flank and just try and finish off this Chaos Knight lances before these guys get involved. Morathi's heading over there because that's some good damage to get involved with. The Dragon has gotten into the line of Dread Spears, but it's taken point-blank shots from that Reaper Claw Bolt Thrower. Reaper Bolt Thrower. And look at this. So the Norscan infantry, the Berserkers, supported by Throg, were able to break through that unit of Witch Elves and Dread Spears. But and here comes some raining magic from the Shaman Sorcerer Metal. Let's get that info panel up just so you can see some of the kills as they happen. The Feral Manticore has fallen down on top of some Bleak Swords, and it's already eating a bunch of them alive for 14 kills. Here comes the Sorceress of Fire pushing herself up, trying to see if there's a good opportunity for most likely a Burning Head. There goes Kolek. He's running for that edge of the line, but he is not out. He will be back in this fight later, of course, and that's usually how these things go. Whenever you have a routing lord, they never get across that line. They never do. You have to commit to chasing them down. So the Dark Elves have already gotten their Murderous Prowess now activated, mostly in part because of the damage being done by the Harganeth Executioners. Look at the routing Chaos Forces, and this Chaos Sorcerer of Death, he's got to find new places to go. The Destroyer hungers. Yes, indeed, Malekith. Yes, indeed. All right, so this Frostworm is going to try and get some breath attacks off against the Sorceress on her dragon, and really just kind of ineffectual shots. But everything is berserking over here that can berserk. Look at all of that that's happening. And the Dark Riders popping some shots off on this Chosen along with another unit of Dark Riders. That Chosen is not going to be an easy target, especially since they're supported by Archaon the Everchosen. And Marathi's on the ground in this fight as the Summoners of Rage come downhill along with that Death Hag. I think Marathi wants to get out of here fairly quickly, even against Chosen. That's not a great place for Marathi to be, and that Death Hag might as well be a lost cause, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. The Reaper Bolt Thrower has managed to rack up 18 kills here. Marathi, airborne at last, feeling a little bit safer, and the Northskin Warhounds here are just hoping that the Raven Heralds will come down to the ground. And here goes a Burning Head from Chaos right across the cavalry. But that's good reactions from the Dark Elf player to go ahead and pull his Dread Spears out of the way and immediately have his Dark Riders running away from it. Look at that. That's an epic chase scene right there. Look at this. They're just like, we're going. We get it. We understand. We're sorry. But the order wasn't far enough of a distance. And sure enough, they go ahead and they're going to eat some of that. It doesn't look like that was the upgraded version because the Dark Repeater with Crossbows unit there, they did not take much damage. They're already opening fire on the Frostworm. Archaon picked up 26 kills from that, and he might have had a Burning Head earlier that I missed as well. And he's immediately getting shot in the back of his head by the Dark Riders, who are making him pay for that. Here comes some more magic. This time it is the Soul Stealer from Marathi, or it might be from the Dark Sorceress. And oh, what a hit on the Chosen and Summoners of Rage. That was a great little packed up target for them to hit there. All right. Things are really starting to get involved out here. We have I do believe it's the Gaze of Cain activating once again as Malekith comes downhill into this fight. And we have the Supreme Sorceress. She gets off a breath attack, and blam, picks up a pretty pile of Chaos, of Norskin infantry. Meanwhile, off in the distance, the Harpies have... What a silly fight this is. The Harpies just kind of get into the back end here of the Chaos forces, just trying to chase off some enemies, and the Chaos Sorcerer is like, oh, you know what? I'm going to chase you away. Probably not the best place. So Sartorial, the Everwatcher here, is trying to help end this Charybdis, but is doing so from a distance, just from a supporting position, letting the Summoners of Rage really do the work here. And here comes a Blade Wind, and it's going to arc off course as everybody moves away from there. He was hoping that they could get, he was hoping the Sorceress player, he was hoping that the Charybdis would hold its ground a little bit longer so that they could blop up on it and take advantage of that damage. But here comes, on a downhill charge, the Knights of the Ebon Claw going straight for one. Are they anti-large? They're anti-armor at least, and it looks like they're going to get hit. Oh, they're going to bank off at the last minute before hitting Sartorial to get right into the back end of the Mirror Guard Chaos Warriors, and that's a good target to rear charge. Fantastic. Okay, so the Lords of the Dark Elves here, the Dark Elf armies, they've kind of realized, you know what, we've broken the back of Kolek's army on this flank. Kolek's coming back right now, and he's chasing down some Dread Spears, but Throg has also routed on this end. He came down here for support, and now they're like, okay, well, what's the next target out here? Well, the next target has got to be Sartorial. They've got to get a hold of him. So here goes Malekith versus Sartorial, the Ever Chicken versus the Velociraptor Knight. Here we go. And are the Knights of the Ebon Claw going to support? No, it looks like they're going to go on past and look for their next armored infantry target, leaving the Summoners of Rage in a position to help Sartorial. I think Malekith is actually getting I think he's not getting the better end of this fight. I think I would have picked him, but between these two casting melee specialists, it looked like Sartorial had the advantage, but Sartorial is backing out of that fight. And not due to any small part because of the blob of Hargoneth executioners that are coming around. Meanwhile, elsewhere in this chaotic mess, everything's mixed in. There is no chance of anything less than chaos when you have the followers of Slaanesh, the Cult of Pleasure, the Dark Elves, and the Chaos Forces themselves all mixed in. Here we go. Blackguard of Nagaron with 71 kills, facing down with Chosen at 96 kills. What an epic duel this is here, huh? Chosen versus Blackguard of Nagaron. I think Chosen actually have the advantage here, especially as they get some support from yet more Chosen. Oh man, I would love to watch this matchup all day. Yep, the Chosen have now gotten themselves up to 101 and 21 kills, respectively. Blackguard of Nagaron, they are losing out here. Here comes some more Chaos Warriors to support, but I might have wanted to pull them around to the flank and come and attack them from behind. Meanwhile, the flying forces of the Dark Elves are chasing off this Frostworm. They've had enough of his influence. And here comes Sarthuriel the Everwatcher and a Giant. They're really wanting to get this Blackguard of Nagaron out of the way. Not a bad call. And here comes a dual attack from Blackguard of Nagaron and Knights of the Ebenclaw against the armored Skinwolves. Skinwolves with 30 kills. This Blackguard with 72 and going up, and 38 on the Ebenclaw Knights. That is just fantastic. Okay. Dark Elves are starting to redraw their lines to a small degree. They've split the Chaos Forces into two major portions. There's Archaon running around over here with what's left of Kolek's forces. Kolek's in the woods going, okay, well, what's next? What's next? What's my next target? There are some knights out here. I'm sorry, the Doomfire Warlocks doing some scouting now that they've come back from routing. And here goes another Burning Head, but looks like it didn't get anybody in particular. And it might get a little bit of these shades, but not enough damage to be done. Here comes, once again, Malekith. He's taken a significant pile of damage now, maybe from facing these Chaos Knights. And the Knights of the Ebenclaw are supporting. Throg is back, and he's trying to help out this Blackguard, or he's trying to help the Chaos Warriors with Halberds against this Blackguard Nagaron, but there are Witch Elves in here, so those Chaos Warriors with Halberds, who are already outclassed, are now not going to leave that fight at all. That's going to be the end of them. There's just so much going on here, folks, and it doesn't stop. Here comes some more. That's a good lightning strike from Kolek. How is Kolek doing, by the way? He's up to 42 kills. Archaon with 44 now. None of the Lords have left this battle yet. They are all still in it. Here comes Malekith. He's up to 30 kills. Throg, he's done a lot of work, but he's done. He's at 50 kills. He's trying to heal, but he's also routing. He might not come back. Crone Hellebron with only 17 kills, surprisingly enough. And here goes the Marauder Champions against some Dread Spears, but with the support of the Shades, the Marauder Champions might actually lose that fight. Archaon, Forces of Chaos here, you are not looking too good. We've got the Murderous Prowess has been going on for quite some time now. As you can tell by the clock, there's only a minute and a half left, and Chaos are not in a position where they're going to be able to turn this around. So that brings us to the fight that's actually going to decide it. Sarthuriel the Everwatcher versus two Black Dragons. All of the infantry have routed, but the Blackguard of Nagaron are still here. They have a Plague of Rust on them from Sarthuriel, but Sarthuriel is going to start taking damage, and it's not going to stop coming. He does have the support maybe of his Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, as well as his own Lore of Metal, but they've got to be low on the Winds of Magic from all those Burning Heads. But I don't believe many of the Burning Heads that were used were of the Overcast variety, and I think it's pretty much going to be required for when you're facing the elite infantry of the Dark Elves. More and more fire raining down. The dragons decide, you know what, we'll play it safe here. We're going to back off. We have other tools available to help us take out Sarthuriel. And one of those tools is Malekith on his Cold One. And lots of ranged fire and lots of Blackguard Nagaron. The Blackguard Nagaron are absolutely MVPs of this fight, just all around. They got a hold of some of the best units in the game, and they got the enemy pinned. Archaon out here in the distance making a flanking maneuver. And take a look at this mini-map just to see how crazy all of this is, how all of it's breaking down. We have another Lord versus Lord bout happening over here. I believe this is Crone Hellebron who is chasing Kolek Suneater. Nope, that's actually Morathi. Morathi has flown quite a few miles in this battle, let me tell you. And meanwhile over here, this is it for Sarthuriel. He gets popped, and that is when it's too much for Chaos. They rout all across the board. Game over. what a fight. And special thanks to Reginald Puggington for submitting, and special thanks to the other 7 players who participated. I'm going to go ahead and give them some respect right now. So we had Reginald Puggington, Bad Wolfie, Sunny, and the Gobbo King representing the Dark Elves, and representing the Forces of Chaos, Jareed, I Am Lettuce, the Quiet Force, and Kenny. So let's just go down the list real quick and talk about each army. We're going to look at the Chaos Forces first. 50 kills on Throg, only outdone by Malekith with 51, I'm pretty sure, in this battle. Some of the Marauders managed to do some great damage against, I believe, I could be mistaken here, against Witch Elves. So long as they had the outnumbering support, but they also took a lot of damage from that. 123 kills on these Marauder Berserkers here. And then the Frostworm only with 39 kills. The Chaos Warhounds did some great work in the light cavalry of the Dark Elves, but that was the most significant number of troops that Norska was able to deploy. I Am Lettuce here, 2 Chosen. They had some decent work done. 115 points here, 54 on this one. I do not know, of course, whether or not that XP was earned. It could be if this was the one that was facing off against Blackguard Nagorond. 29 kills on the Swords of Chaos, 22 with the Soul of Damnation, but that was mostly on Dread Spears. Not an impressive showing, especially not from the Summoners of Rage. The Quiet Force here, which was Kolek's army on the far flank, he did okay. The Chaos Sorcerer of Death in particular managed probably pulling off some Fate of Bunas that were unnoticed. And again, every time I watched this, I saw that Chaos Chariot unit, and each time I was like, I gotta see what they're doing. But it didn't matter anyway. They didn't do squat. We do have Chaos Knights here that managed to pull off some decent numbers, and Dragon Ogres and the Chaos Feral Manticore. But overall, Kolek's army got overwhelmed quickly. Kenny was the Starthorial the Ever Chicken player. He had 3 Chaos Warriors. He had the Mirror Guard, more Chaos Warriors, so 4 units of Chaos Warriors total. Chaos Knights, the Weird Spawn, another Summoner of Rage, and that Giant, which did the most work for sure, if you don't count the work the Chaos Warriors did when they were enraged and fighting Dread Spears. Okay, so let's look at Dark Elf player and their presentation. How did they do? Malekith with 51 kills. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that's actually the best performing Lord. No, I was wrong. The Gobbo King with the Supreme Sorceress on the Dragon actually managed to do a better job. But it was nice seeing Malekith taking on the Cold One Knight. It didn't make him an immediate target in the sky, and he was able to really hoof some hills like a madman that he is, like the Mad King he is. Okay, damage-wise, the Witch Elves put to good use just by disrupting the enemy formations. Bleak Swords and Dread Spears holding the line. The Shades, I felt, did a pretty significant job in one of the many Blackguard Nagorond units, but not one of the showstoppers. He did earn 1 XP Chevron if it wasn't already there to begin with. The Charybdis, managing 19 kills against Summoners of Rage and Dragon Ogres, which was great. Knights of the Ebon Claw, also a good target. Reginald Puggington was a significant force in defeating the Quiet Force. All right, so Bad Wolfie over here with Crone Hellebron. Her role in this fight was much more support than it was a wrecking ball that we've come to see from Crone Hellebron. Sorceress of Fire with 6 kills. Okay, some Dread Spears. They just did the job, held the line. But the Sisters of Singing Doom, Witch Elves, really getting the work done. But look at the kills on that Harganeth Executioner ambush. That was great. Fantastic number of kills there. As soon as Bad Wolfie and Reginald Puggington saw that the Quiet Force was a little bit too far on their own, and that Jareed, the next closest supporting army, was going to be hit by the Gobbo King's forces, they went, you know what? We're going to just go on in and wipe out the Quiet Force, which was a great play on their part. Sunny brought along Morathi, didn't take any damage, or if she did, she healed it all up with some of that dark magic spells. The 2 Death Hags, both lost in the battle, but both doing their part of disrupting the enemy as best they can. Dread Spears did their job, but that's all I can say about them. Witch Elves as well doing their job. Sunny managed to do very well with the forces he had, including the Dark Riders Repeater Crossbow. I loved watching them run away from that burning head. That was very entertaining. And both of the Reaper Bolt Throwers were with Sunny's army as well, trying to get some early hits on Chaos Knights and Chaos Warriors, and a couple of shots on some Chosen. The Gobbo King, though, what a performance. This is great. 79 kills on the Supreme Sorceress Dark, 117 on the Black Dragon, 78 on this Black Art of Nagaron, 99 on that Black Art of Nagaron. The Dark Rider is not doing much, just disrupting the enemy flank, mostly overwhelmed, unfortunately. And then the Slaanesha's Harvesters and the Raven Heralds also doing their work on the flanks with the 2 units of Harpies. Not an army I would expect to see in a 4v4, but Gobbo King really knows what he's doing, and he was able to get a lot of work done with just the 10 units. So, I'd like to thank everybody once again for participating. I'd like to thank Reginald Puggington for submitting. Thank you all so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the video. Have a great one.